Hi everyone, I'm Mary Kailanina and Sanya. So for today, I'll be discussing the distributed denial of service attack or the DDoS. So before we start the reporting or the discussion, let us know what is the objective or what are the objectives of this report. First, learn and define distributed denial of service attacks and its types or the DDoS types. Second, distinguish distributed denial of service attack from denial of service attacks. Third, to know how distributed denial of service attacks work. Lastly, explain the attack symptoms and how to identify. Now that we know the objectives of this report, we can now start by defining what is the DDoS attack. So, distributed denial of service attack or the DDoS is a malicious and targeted attack that floods a network with false requests in order to disrupt business operations. Any attack that intends to prevent users from using digital resources, prevent users from performing their routine and essential tasks. So, DDoS is it prevents users from performing their routine and essential tasks like accessing email, browsing websites, and accessing online accounts that are operated by a hacked computer or network. So here, perpetrator intentionally floods the system like a server's website and other network resources by overwhelming the system activities. It triggers the system to deny even legitimate users access. So that is the DDoS. So we have three types of distributed denial of service attacks. First is the volumetric attack. Created a bottleneck by consuming the bandwidth between the target server and the internet. So ang volumetric attack is the context is it refers to an attack that aims to overwhelm the target system with a massive volume of traffic, thereby consuming the network bandwidth and causing it to become slow or unavailable. So, it also includes a high traffic volume. The primary goal of volumetric attack is to flood the target with an excessive amount of data or requests. This can involve thousands or millions of devices sending requests simultaneously, creating a large volume of network traffic. So, then from the name of itself, volumetric attacks are characterized by sending a large amount of data using amplification with the aid of botnet. So, yun yung volumetric attack. Second, we have the protocol attacks. They expose weaknesses in layer 3 and 4 of the OSI protocol stack to render the target inaccessible. So, dito sa protocol attacks, we have it refers to this attack focus on exploiting weaknesses in the protocol stack or specific protocol implementations, often consuming systems resource like memory, CPU, or network capacity, rather than simply overwhelming the target with massive volume. So, included din dito yung targeting network or transport layer protocols, katulad nga na sinabi ko, yung protocol attacks often exploit vulnerabilities in the lower layers of the network protocol stack, such as network layer or the IP or transport layer, rather than just flooding with high volumes of traffic. Meron tayong example ng protocol attacks, katulad ng Smurf attack. In this attack, yung attacker, it sends a small ICMP request to a network broadcast addressed with a spoof source IP address or the target's address. All devices on the network then send replies to the target, resulting in a flood or traffic. Meron din tayo ng mga HTTP flood. unlike dun sa volumetric attack, yung attack ng HTTP flood or yung focus nito is yung HTTP request sends to web servers. These requests appear legitimate, but they are designed to overload the service, consumes resources, or crash applications. So, ang last type ng DDoS is the application layer attack. So, application layers attack, in this manner, the excessive number of HTTP requests overwhelms the service, resulting in DDoS. So, in this form of attack, the attacker forces the victim server to handle more than it normally does. An HTTP flood is a type of application layer attacks and is similar to constantly refreshing a web browser on different computers all at once. So, unlike dun sa dalawang nauna, ang focus ng application layer attack is overwhelm network's resource on protocol weakness. Application attacks aim to exhaust resource within the application itself. Often, this much less traffic with a more specific and targeted approach. These attacks are designed to disrupt the normal functioning of web application or service, often causing them to become slow, unresponsive, or completely unavailable. So, recap, na-define na natin kung ano yung DDoS and its type, kung ano yung tatlong type, the volumetric attacks, the protocol attacks, the application layer attacks. Now, we can proceed na sa difference between DDoS or distributed denial of service attacks from denial service attacks. So, denial of service attack is attacks initiated from a single source. The attacker overloads a target system, server, or network with excessive requests, causing it to slow down or become unavailable to legitimate users. So, ang DDoS naman is attacks comes from multiple compromised sources, often a network or of infected device known as botnet. This allows the attacker to generate a much large volume of traffic than a single source could produce. So, ang pinagkaiba lang niya is ang sa DDoS, distributed na siya or mas madami yung attack na nagagawa niya sa isang server. So, ang DDoS ay gumagamit siya ng botnet na tinatawag para ma-distribute yung attack dun sa isang computer. Sa DOS or the distributed of service naman, isa lang siya or like it came from a single source na nag-overload dun sa network or the system server. So, yun lang pinagkaiba ng dalawa. Like, sa DDoS, mas distributed na siya. Unlike dito sa denial of service nga na single source lang siya. So, now we can proceed on how distributed denial of service attack or DDoS work. At the heart of DDoS attack is the botnet, which consists of numerous infected devices controlled by an attacker. This device can include computers, servers, and internet things. Device often compromised through malware, phishing attacks, or exploitation of vulnerabilities. Once botnet is established, the attackers uses a command and control servers to issue instructions to the infected device, orchestrating a simultaneous assault on a designated target. So, paano nga ba nagde-develop paano nga ba gumagana ang DDoS? So, attacker develops a special malware which spread to as many vulnerable computer as much as possible. So, once yung malware na yon, pwede siya mag-spread via email, website, and other. So, once na maging bot yung isang computer, automatically magko-connect siya dun sa attacker's command and control servers, and dun magsisimula na mag-accept yung computer or yung infected computer na mag-take ng order from dun sa attacker or decentralized machine. So, ganon nag-work yung DDoS. So now that we know the definition of the DDoS and knowing what are the types of DDoS, what are the difference between distributed denial of service attack from denial of service attack, and how DDoS work, we can now go to conclusion like um, DDoS is a serious threat to an individual and can have significant impact on website and network availability and brand reputation. So, by understanding how DDoS work, we can use this as a practice or steps to mitigate them. Knowing the DDoS business and knowing DDoS, business and individuals can better protect themselves from this type of cyber attack. So that ends my report. I hope you learned something about, especially on knowing how DDoS work and the types of DDoS. So thank you and bye bye.